What's going on, Broncos fans? Welcome into our second video of the day. Because there is just so much to talk about, I figured why not get an extra vid in and talk about the Broncos head coaching search, because I came in pretty fiery this morning. If you haven't watched this morning's video, go ahead and do so. There was a report came out that Rob Walton might be on a hunting trip, which is why there is no second interview, and I was pretty fired up. And I'm not going to walk back my anger because I haven't heard that it is definitively not true. I've not seen a picture of Rob Walton hanging out at the facilities, doing his work, trying to find the next head coach for this team. So until I hear that for sure, I'm not going to say it's a complete no-go that he was hunting. But this head coaching search in general, it's been exhausting. And the funny thing is, it's been exhausting, and there hasn't even been a second interview given out yet. And there has not even been any sort of leak of who the Broncos are looking at more than other guys. You know what I mean? Like, usually there are some decent leaks of the Broncos really like this. Instead, it's just wall-to-wall speculation from a dozen different reporters, and you don't know who to trust. You don't know who's right, who's wrong, because we're going to go back and look and go, wow, I remember early in January, the Broncos were reportedly looking at this coach a lot. Now it's not the case. I do have two quick thoughts I want to get off before we even get further into the show. We're not talking much about Sean Payton today. You want to know why? There hasn't been a lot of buzz on Sean Payton. That might say a lot. It doesn't seem like any team is drooling over the opportunity to trade a first-round pick away for Sean Payton. That and it's just an absolute mess. And if David Shaw is the next head coach, I don't know what I'm going to do other than delete the channel, and we're going to have to start over. Sam Brown, the former Broncos host, he wants to come on for a second because he is livid, like I am, at the idea of this. Sam, the floor is yours.
If David Shaw is hired, it will fail.
Yeah.
It will not succeed. It will not work. There's too much going against it. I told you earlier, I refuse to even let myself believe that he's really seriously being considered for this role.
I mean, the pros for David Shaw include 9 years of NFL experience. The dude was a wide receiver coach 20 years ago. Riddle me this. How many players are still in the league from when David Shaw was a coach in the NFL? Tom Brady? There's not that many left over from the 2005 draft class. Maybe a kicker or a punter. But let's get back on track, because all this started this morning when Jeff Duncan, who is a good reporter, he's not some BS guy who bought a blue check mark. He's a verified reporter who covers the Saints and Sean Payton for NOLA.com. And yesterday he hopped on a show and he ran his mouth a little bit. He said, I think it's nothing more, as I understand it, than Denver wanting the majority owner Rob Walton to be involved. And Rob Walton is on a hunting trip and is not going to be back in Denver. So when he gets back, I think you'll start seeing all the second interviews with the finals start lining up in Denver. So Jeff Duncan said that, and Twitter blew up, right? Everyone's like, are we for real right now? This is what's holding back a potential interview with Dan Quinn or Sean Payton, and another team might come in and swoop them away because Rob Walton's on a hunting trip? Then Jeff Duncan realized, ooh, wow, this blew up. This took off like wildfire. Let me walk it back a little bit, because Duncan said, folks, I was told this by someone close to the situation about the reasoning, but had not been able to confirm it, so I should have never mentioned it in a public forum. I certainly wasn't reporting, and I didn't expect this to become a thing in Denver. My regrets and apologies. This is a clear and obvious walking it all back, because he clearly said something he should not have reported. Not that it wasn't true, but because probably wasn't supposed to get out in the open air. And here it is. Now, some have debunked this idea, right? Some have debunked this story. Troy Rank, who covers the team, tweeted out, I was told by source that this is not the case regarding the hunting trip. Broncos have taken deliberate approach and will be setting up second interviews. Just nothing known/official yet. So, conflicting rumors, some conflicting reports. Jeff Duncan says Rob Walton's on a hunting trip. Then the world blows up and we're like, what is he doing? And then he goes, I shouldn't have reported that. I have not been able to confirm it just yet. Major walk back. I'm not going to be a sheep that just follows this right here. Now, maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm running with something that's not true. That's very possible. I will agree to that, okay? But I am not going to go up here and stand and go, oh, Jeff Duncan walked it back. That means it's not true 110%. No, come on. Think for a second, guys. If this was true, don't you think a billionaire like Rob Walton might chime in and go, what did you just leak? You better walk that back right now because I do not want this getting out in the open for my first head coaching search. So just because we've got some reports that don't even really solidify it, it's just, I can't confirm, or I shouldn't have reported that. No one's definitively said. Rob Walton himself, just come out and say, you're not in Montana and you're not hunting, right? Just come out and say that. Say you're watching Yellowstone. Great show. You can pretend like you're hunting that way, but I'm not going to buy the idea that because some low-level, level of wording, not even all that confident, reporting, is going to go, yep, never mind, not a hunting trip. Moving on. That was a completely fake, fabricated story. Not so fast. But I want to hear from you guys because, boy, oh boy, did you let me have it in the comment section on the last video. So, do you believe the Walton hunting trip story? Yes or no? Take this as a poll. Let me know in the comment section. For the second half of today's show, I kind of want to talk about this story here from Benjamin Allbright, who I think is towards the top, or at least one of the more inner circle reporters on the Broncos head coaching search. He said, buy DeMeco Ryans stock? Buy DeMeco Ryans stock. So let's talk about DeMeco Ryans because it's not the first time we've heard this name sort of ascending. Pro Football Talk yesterday said rumblings emerge of Broncos making a head coaching decision as soon as Wednesday. It's almost 4 o'clock as I film this right now, Mountain Time. Doesn't feel like it's going to happen, Mike Florio. But with DeMeco Ryans and David Shaw among the perceived finalists. Let's talk about DeMeco Ryans, okay? The former Houston Texans and Philadelphia Eagles linebacker has been on the 49ers staff since 2017. He initially started as a defensive quality control coach. He was then promoted to inside linebackers coach, which when you think 49ers, you kind of think they're awesome front seven and their linebackers. And since Robert Saleh went to the Jets head coaching job, he's been the defensive coordinator. Now, there are some ties. K'Wan Williams came over for the Niners, you might remember, and DJ Jones, who took to Instagram and posted this story right here saying, we can zoom in, shout out to producer Sam. Since we're saying who we want as the head coach, I want Miko. So clearly players like him, right? I don't think that's really up for much debate here. I don't know if I'll say he's a player's coach. I think he's a phenomenal coach. I think he's a great coach. I think he could be a really good NFL head coach. He is highly respected. He is sought after. He is getting a lot of buzz and attention for a guy who's been a DC for just 2 years so far. That says a lot. There are a lot of coordinators. Jerry Rosberg, for example, was a long-time special teams coordinator. He didn't get an opportunity to be a head coach until Nathaniel Hackett got fired, and he had to come out of retirement for it. And he turned out to be a pretty decent interim head coach. So this definitely backs up in terms of the, where he is viewed as in NFL circles. But are the Broncos really about to go for a fourth straight first-time head coach in 7 seasons? I think we can agree DeMeco Ryans might go on to be an awesome NFL head coach. But is Denver in a position to make that gamble for a fourth straight time when the last 3 have been duds? Vance Joseph, a dud. Vic Fangio, better but a dud. And Hackett, YouTube would censor me. So the point I'm making now is DeMeco Ryans, if they hire him, I don't even think I could be that upset about it because I think he might be a really good coach. But I don't think it's worth the gamble. I think you've got to go with someone who's got the experience, who knows how to run an NFL locker room, and isn't learning on the fly. Because the last 4 has resulted in losing seasons and the longest postseason drought for a Super Bowl winning team. But you've heard me rant. I want to get you guys involved in the show once again. Should Denver hire another first-time head coach? Hire or pass? Let me know in the comment section. I've also got this concern. I also want to share this thought with you all here. DeMeco Ryans clearly, if he is going to get this job, is not coming here to save Russell Wilson. You don't hire a young defensive coordinator to save the multi-million-dollar quarterback you traded for and have him turn around his career and save his season, save his career in Denver, right? To me, DeMeco Ryans, if he took this job, is coming under the tenses, under the prefix of you're not tied to Russell Wilson. We're going to do one more year. If he sucks, we'll eat the largest dead cap in NFL history, and DeMeco, we're going to turn it over to you. To me, this sounds like he's going to get a long leash. They're not grading him on the first season or two because you don't hire DeMeco Ryans to salvage whatever's left of Russell Wilson. If that's the case, you go Sean Payton. You go offense. You go someone like Dan Quinn, who has head coaching experience, who worked with Russell Wilson. If you're going DeMeco Ryans, you're going the route of it might not work immediately, but over the long term, this is going to be the best hire of the group here. And if that means farting around with Russell Wilson for another year or two until we can get a better quarterback and DeMeco's guy in place, they're willing to be patient and do that. If they think DeMeco is that good of a head coach potentially, and it's just not going to be a home run early in his career. That's going to do it for us on our second show of the day. I appreciate everyone for tuning back in. I'm going to see you all tomorrow with more Broncos news and rumors.